Opinionated Facts is brought to you by the Right Way Home Care, where they are committed to providing high-quality, client-centered, and affordable home care. They also offer personal care, respite care, light housekeeping, medication reminder, and a personal care. If you need any more information on the Right Way Home Care, make sure you reach out to them at www.therightwayhomecare.org. Again, that is www.therightwayhomecare.org. Microphone check. Hey, this is the world's most popular barbecue talk, barbershop talk, man cave conversation. However you like it or dislike it, this is the Heavyweight Champion Sports Talk Podcast. These are your hosts, your boys back in the building, B-Way, along with my partner in crime, the red-headed assassin, man, the last member of the red-headed Indian tribe, the man that gets it popping in the old head community. What else we got for you? The Donald Trump of Sports Talk Podcast.
No, man, don't do that to me no more, man. Don't do that to me no more.
Mr. Red himself is in the building. We also have S. Rudolph in the building. We also have special guest, Mr. Jerry Johnson, in the building. What's going on, fellas? How's everybody's week?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Anybody protest this week?
I was down there by proxy. They sent me down there to be medic units for the protests. Does that count?
No, you were working. You were getting paid for it.
Yeah, but I was the guy that made sure a protester went down. He could keep protesting. I got him in order.
Nah, you part of the problem down there.
Nah, they love me.
You probably down there pushing old people down.
I gave him the fist, man. I couldn't knee with him, no. They didn't need that. I'm joking.
Nah, you wouldn't knee with him anyway.
Oh man. We also have special guests with us. What is it? 13-year pro. One of the few guys that made the Hall of Fame in every basketball league, profession level he played at. Superstar in different parts of the country as well as home. But he represents the 717 proudly. Mr. Jerry Johnson, what's going on, man?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm just chilling, man. You know, enjoying the time and it's taking it day by day, man. Really taking it day by day.
How? Question? Go ahead, Red.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask how the transition been from playing 13 years to being retired now and having all this time on your hands.
Are you retired though? I ain't hear no announcement.
Oh man, yeah. I haven't played in 2 years, man. But
really?
It's been all right, man. It's just, just trying to stay busy, keep myself busy. That's the hardest part is finding things to do. But I have kids, so anytime you have kids, you're always gonna have things to do.
Could you go out right now in the court and give Samar 30?
Samar?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Samar's in shape, man.
What do you say?
Samar's in shape.
He's a firefighter, man. He's in good shape.
I seen some fat firefighters.
Don't be modest now, Jerry. You know you still got the juice.
I can still probably get 30.
Not 30. maybe 20. You know, I was a defender, Jerry. Maybe 22.
All right, well, 3 for 3 from the field and the rest free throws because you're going to foul.
Nah, man.
Nah, Samar, that's one thing Samar do. He'll foul, and he'll argue with you about the foul. Like, nah.
He's a ref, right? He would argue about it.
Yeah, you're going to argue about every foul call. It don't matter where it come from.
That ain't a foul because according to the playbook and the PIAA, I'm a referee. That's not a foul.
I wasn't a ref back then. I wasn't a ref.
Nah, that's definitely Samar's motto, though. He's gonna argue every call, and now you're gonna be a referee, and you were the guy to argue every call.
Nah, I never argued calls, man. Play ball.
I was with you. Hap said Jerry would give Samar 40 right now.
Hap said Samar don't give nobody no credit for nothing.
Appreciate it, Hat.
The only time I ever see Samar tired, man, we were Penn Manor running, and Jerry, he was guarding you, Jerry. And I ain't never seen Samar that tired in my life. Like, Samar go all day, but he was like, He just shrugged his shoulders. He was like, he's a tough guard.
That was funny. I regarded.
That's when you were still playing though. That was like 5 years ago.
Funny though is I always thought Jerry was the toughest guard I ever had, but then Sam was tough. He was a lefty though. You know him, Jerry?
Sam. I think I know what you're talking about. What's it?
He played at Penn Manor with us a couple times too. He's not from Lancaster, I don't think. From New York, left-hand shooter.
If you tell me his name, I probably know. I got to match faces and names, like the name with the face, man. I can't.
Hat knows who he is. I know that.
Yeah. Pat played with him.
So you got a rare thing going, Jay, where I mean, you got more of your life ahead of you as much as you have behind you, and you're retired. So, like that transition from, doing one thing your whole life, and now you have half your life to go, hopefully. And how was that mentally? Was that tough?
Yeah, it is, man. It's actually not easy. It's it's like figuring out it's like starting your life all over again. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to figure out, what you're gonna do. What's gonna keep you motivated. And it's just one of those things where you actually have to just go through it to understand it. You know what I mean? Just like I guess it's like kind of feeling like any job you do for such a long time. But at 30, when I was done 36, it's a little bit different than being 56 or 66. You know what I'm saying? But it's tough, man. It's tough. But like I said, it's just the most important thing is staying busy and finding things that you like to do that make you happy and make you feel good.
Were you preparing for it ahead of time? I know you're close with Chris, and I went up to see Chris a couple of times when he was playing, and I remember how he was like doing things in the off season, going to school, working towards something. So when he was ready to retire, he was ready. Did you do something along those lines?
Not really in that way. I don't really know what to say. Just things just started happening for me. It's not about preparing so much or what to do, but I was already doing things. I wasn't doing things, a lot of things that was going to put actual like money in my pocket, but I was already doing things to keep me busy. I already had like my youth programs. I was already doing training. In the summer times, I was always doing things with youth anyway. So I figured, once I was done, and my kids are still young, I was gonna be doing something that had to do with kids. And I was already doing that for so long. So once I got done, things just started kind of just falling in my lap. But to answer your question, no, not really.
Okay.
Like how was that? Like being, playing 13 years in Europe. Like how hard was it to leave your family, go play basketball for the season, and had to come back, and just making that transition and just to not be able to be around your family every day.
Well, I mean, when you've done one thing your whole life, I've been playing ball since I was like 9. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of just you kind of go with the flow. But when you're doing things that make sense and things that are relevant, and you know why you're doing them, you don't look at it in the way as a burden. You know what I mean? Or you're leaving your family. You look at it the way like I'm supporting my family. I'm doing things for them. You know what I mean? So that stuff gets blocked out. You know what I mean? Because it's all about your why and why you're doing it. So when your why makes sense, everything else doesn't really matter.
Definitely.
Do you feel like you had to have like family support? Like Bianca had to be there for the work with raising the kids? Was that a?
Well, I mean, me and Bianca we've been together, so it was just kind of what we were already. You know what I mean? So it wasn't something that it's kind of like a thing where, we didn't put a label on our job or what we're doing as parents. You know what I mean? It's just things that already happened. It was already happening. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, this is what we're doing, and no one's really thinking about that. We're just living our lives and taking care of the kids, and I'm playing basketball, and she's doing her thing and being supportive in that way. So it is kind of things that's kind of gelled together.
I mean, it definitely takes a team aspect just to be able to be successful that long. I could imagine it had to be, you guys had to be on a united front for the most part.
I think being distant, that stuff helps. Everybody needs a break, no matter what you're doing or how much you're passionate about a person or how much you like somebody. Is the gaps to keep you missing each other is important. You know what I mean? I think that also plays a big part in understanding too. When you understand who's who and what's what, and it makes things easier too. Because a lot of times everybody want to step on each other's toes, or this is what I need to do, or this is what I need to do. But, stay in your lane. You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. And, it works that way.
When you were coming up, when you were young, did you ever envision having the kind of success that you've had in your pro career? Not even just your pro career, but even college, high school.
I couldn't really think that far. I just know I wanted to do something. I know I wanted to play. I worked hard at it. And, I just stayed loyal to what things meant to me and what I wanted. And I just stayed consistent with that and treated things the way they needed to be, and just kept it going, and things just started happening, So I think one thing that I think a lot of kids don't do is like they're not consistent in what they want to do. They have this idea in their mind that they want to do this, but it's like, well, how are you going to do it? And then as soon as things don't work as fast as they want them to, they drop off or they try to do something else. But just sticking and being consistent, I think that's one of the most powerful things you can do is just being focused and staying consistent.
No, I agree with that. I always tell kids whenever I talk to them that nothing worth anything comes easy. It's going to be hard. If it's easy, anybody would do it. So, you're an example of that.
Right.
It's hard to ignore what's going on with the Black Lives Movement matter with George Floyd. And I know you've been literally a world traveler. You played in Turkey, Poland, France, Greece. Spent a good portion of your career in Astana and what is it, Kazakhstan? Am I saying it correct?
Kazakhstan, yep.
Yeah, which is for people who don't know, it's like south of Russia, north of Afghanistan, like landlocked.
So it used to be part of Russia during the Soviet or Russian state, but it broke off, and now it's actually Central Asia now. But it's still part of old Russian state.
So being in other parts of the world, all these different areas, how were the race issues in those? Was it an issue in those other countries?
I think race is an issue everywhere. Just no matter how it's embraced. You know what I'm saying? I think in other countries, especially when you're black and you're in those part of the world, people are already looking at you in a certain way. But it's more of a way of kind of embracing you because you don't see people of color around as much. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's a little bit different in those countries. But then, they see the things they see what's going on in the United States, and then they think that that's the way it is or that's the way things should be treated. And that's kind of where I think they get their mindset from in some sense. Not all, but just some of the experiences I've had, in my opinion, has kind of been like that.
Any of the countries where you in, was there a black population in any of those countries? Not really.
Not really. You'll see some, maybe Africans from Africa that are there for business, and African Americans who are playing sports. You'll see, but there's not really a big culture of that. France does have it. The French, there's a lot of Africans in France and people of color. But where I was at, it was kind of like if you seen a black person, you knew they were either there for business or for some kind of sports.
How did they embrace you?
Oh, it was cool. You see a person of color say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" It's kind of like, "Oh, why you here?" type thing. You know what I mean? But it was always like a welcoming thing. You know what I mean? It was always a reason to go up and ask somebody where you from or what you're doing here.
Well, they must have liked you. They made you a citizen in 2013 in Estonia. You're naturalized now, right?
It was yeah. I was naturalized, I think, in 2012. I think it was 2012, 2013. But it was cool. It's all about timing, situation. So it kind of worked out.
Was that mainly a thing to get you on the national team, or did you just really like love the country and wanted to be?
Actually, they offered it to me because the team was new, and they had a national team already, and they needed a point guard. So they brought me on and offered it to me. But it kind of worked out because our team was new, and it was kind of like the first international team to start up in Kazakhstan, to play in like the Russian league and travel around Europe and things like that. So it kind of helping out because it actually allowed our team to have an extra foreign player because I counted as a citizen.
Oh, that's nice. Do you see yourself going back there to visit or anything along those lines?
Oh, yeah, I mean, eventually I'll go back and visit. I have a lot of friends there, a lot of good connections there. So it'll always be a place of home. I mean, I have friends text me all the time and stuff like that, so it's cool.
Would you ever consider?
Go ahead, Brandon.
Would you ever consider taking the job over Kazakhstan?
When it comes to basketball, I mean,
yes, absolutely.
I don't say no, but I at least want to be able to see what my kids are going to be and what their future is going to be before, taking an opportunity like that if it ever existed or if it ever was an opportunity. Because, again, if I left, it would be cheating them. You know what I mean? Because I'll be going again and won't be able to watch them grow and be there for them to see, what they want to do in their future. And just being there with them, I think it's important to have a father around. Making sure that they're making sound decisions and whatever help they need.
You mentioned a few years back about doing an exchange program with kids over from Kazakhstan and bringing them to Lancaster. Is that still something you're trying to do?
We did it twice. I think we did it 2 or 3 times. We did it a couple of times. We brought, I think it was like 6 to 8 kids over, and they were here, and we put them in housing. And my manager, which is a good friend of mine, Nikolai and Joma, they brought kids over and stuff. So it was fun. It was good for them. It was good.
Go ahead, B.
So just being over there, how many championships did you win in? Because I can't say it. Yeah.
I think we had like.
How do you say it?
Kazakhstan. I think we had like 4. I think it was 4 and like maybe 2 or 3 cups. It's somewhere around there. I don't remember off top. But.
Hey, what's the difference between the titles and the cups? We were trying to figure that out for each show.
So the titles is, it'll be just your league. What I mean? Your league. So say if you have 10 teams in your league, and then the cup will be, because in Europe, man, you have it's kind of like the LL League. You got Section 1, 2, and 3. So we'll put it in the context of that. So Section 1 title would be just McCaskey or Township, Solanco. But then the league will be Section 1, 2, and 3 in all the teams. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have your Kazakhstan league, and then you have your cup. So that makes sense.
The cup is kind of the thing you want to. It's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right.
Why do you think it's hard to find for teams for players in Europe to get multi-year deals with one team? Because you always hear about players going over, but they always go to different teams when they go over. So is it hard for them to sign like a multi-year deal with one team?
It's not. It just depends on. Europe is kind of weird. You gotta actually have to be like in the business to kind of understand it. You know what I mean? But you gotta understand, like you can go from making peanuts to 6 figures. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like your situation. If you're with a mid or low league and you're just starting, you don't want to sign a multi-year deal with a team you're just getting startup kind of salary. You blow up and play good, you can go from night to day, day to night, whatever, in salary and in situation. You know what I mean? So you never want to kind of
lock yourself in.
You know what I mean? But there are, once you get to that plateau of you're at the top, a lot of guys sign multi-year deals, 3-4 year deals. And Europe is really not, until you really break that boundary, it's unstable sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's a fight, man. It's definitely a fight. It's definitely a lot of different things that play out, situation, team situation, making sure you're staying healthy, agent, team, country, word of mouth. It's like getting drafted in the NBA. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of things that got to work to be successful, and that's when that consistency comes in. Consistency and not letting up and staying focused, because it might take you 4 or 5 years to break that barrier, or some guys never. They just find themselves just floating for how many years they can upstand.
Overall,
higher leagues over there. Was it Lithuania or you were in Europe?
I mean, so I played in EuroLeague. So that EuroLeague is kind of like the NBA of Europe. So I played in that. I played in the Euro Cup. I pretty much played in like every league possibly, just through certain teams. You know what I mean?
Is that overall the best league out there, the Europe League?
EuroLeague, yeah. EuroLeague is a combination of the best. So when you see NBA Europe and them playing those big time teams, those are EuroLeague teams. So those are like and they're different countries scattered around. You know what I mean? The top teams in each country, or top 2 teams in each country. So it's kind of made up in like a union.
You played against some guys like I know Sean May played over there from Carolina, Darren Williams, Ty Lawson. You played against any of those guys?
I played against Darren Williams when he was in Turkey. I think it was the lockout period. I played against Ty Lawson when he was in Zalgiris. We actually beat them. That was actually our first game ever. Once the team of Steiner started in Kazakhstan, that was our first game at home. We beat them. That was during that lockout. They had Sonny Williams too. He was an NBA guy.
Mm-hmm. So when you were going up against these guys like Ty Lawson, Darren Williams, was it like a measuring stick for you to see if you could play at that level? How'd you take that? How'd you approach those games?
Well, I mean, I approached it like any other game. Those guys were good. But, there's also a lot of guys in Europe, too, that can play in the NBA, just don't get a chance. And, vice versa. There's a lot of guys that don't belong in the NBA or in the NBA. So it's a crapshoot, man. But those guys are good, man. Those guys were good. And it's just about timing and situation. It's politics. But those guys were good. Those guys could play.
So coming from just Lancaster in general, do you think that was a plus for you? Did that add a chip on your shoulder, or do you think it just hurt you because people looked down at you were coming from a small city or whatever?
I mean, it has to be a combination of things. You know what I'm saying? It's just not one thing. It's just about also like what you trying to do. What do you want to do and how bad you want it, and what sacrifices are you gonna make, and are you willing to go to a lower level school or lower level team and prove yourself and put yourself in situations and not take any kind of excuses to, I'm from Lancaster or I'm from here or there. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, basketball is one language. You can play or you can't. You know what I'm saying? And I was always told, like, if you're good enough, they're gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? So, you just can't have any excuses in the business. I mean, you just got to go out there and do what you do.
Yeah, I remember coming from. Hold on, Red. No, because I remember coming up. Like I was, I came up, looking up to my brother and like that era with McHale and them guys, and like we didn't really look to the next level of much. You know what I mean? We played high school football there or whatever, and then we didn't really look to college. But like seeing guys like you and being around you and just seeing your work ethic on a daily basis, like it inspired us younger guys to like, man, this thing can really, you got a shot to really make this thing beyond high school. So I mean, that was a testament to your hard work and how hard you grinded to make it up out of Lancaster and be able to travel the world and go to 8, 9, 10 different countries or whatever you did. So that was just a big deal, just coming up from my angle, being younger and seeing guys like you and Chris, come up and just make it out. But go ahead, Red, with your next question.
Well, I was going to take it back to the McCaskey days. I mean, we didn't ask no questions about high school, really.
Yeah, that was my next one.
And I didn't really get a chance to, you guys are a little older than me, so I didn't really get a chance to see him on a daily basis. I remember the first time I actually got to go watch him, I think I was seventh or eighth grade. Number one, I never seen a light greener than Jerry's. I mean, I remember the first time watching him, this guy was pulling up from freaking damn near half court. I'm thinking in my head, why ain't nobody else pulling up from there? Because Jerry was green, so he could kind of do what he wanted. My question was, as far as high school goes, high school level, who was the most talented player you ever played against? It could be from anywhere.
Probably Jameer Nelson.
Jameer Nelson?
In high school, yeah. He was good.
You played him at what, a camp?
Nah, Chester. He played Chester.
Oh, that's right. He did play at Chester. Forgot about that.
And I think he probably was one of the probably better players overall, for sure.
Who was?
Jameer Nelson.
Who you say after that?
Nah, I said he was probably the one. He was probably the better
The reason I'm asking that question because I watched the interview like last week with Tootie Allen, John Tootie Allen, Coachville, and he mentioned you in the interview.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's my man Tootie.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He said, "Man, Jerry, that's still my guy."
I'm thinking, from position wise, you know what I'm saying? Position wise for me. But Tootie was an amazing player, man. He was a great player.
He told the story how you guys went down there, gave them their first and only loss that year.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that me and Tootie go way back though, from maybe 13, 14, even before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When those guys was him and the little point guard Reese and DeJuan Wagner, those guys playing for Del Valle. That was when I think DeJuan Wagner was probably the best freshman in the country or something like that, and it was coming up to Stevens Trade before the new Stevens Trade, obviously. So I knew John for a long, long, long time, man, and John was definitely, for sure one of the better players too. But like I said, Jameer Nelson was a guard. He was a point guard. So that's what, when you asked me that, it gives me that initial thing is like head to head, like that was probably one of the better players.
I was just asking just because I remember hearing the interview and he had spoke about you, and rumor has it he's walking around with your state title.
I mean, they won, man. I mean, that they deserved it. There ain't really much you can say.
He said he'd be willing for you to get that same 5. He get his same 5. He said he knows you guys are out of shape, but he'd still be willing to go ahead and do it.
I think I'm probably still in shape, man.
He said that in the interview. He said he'd still be willing to go ahead and do it.
So he said, watching that interview actually brought back a lot of memories. Full disclosure, me and B-Way played JV last year, that 2000-2001 season. And I remember being down there at Coatesville and then
play varsity though. I should have played varsity. Just throwing that out there. Go ahead.
So do you feel like what are your thoughts on that 2001 season? Was kind of known as the golden era of McCaskey basketball in a way. Yeah. Do you feel like, I mean, you were the only team to beat that Coatesville team that year. They were 33-1, I think, 32-1.
33-1.
And you guys would have played them after the Williamsport game, I think, but we ended up losing. Any thoughts on that season? Do you think you guys could have beat them again in the rematch?
I think, well, I mean, of course, I mean, I feel like we could beat them, but I mean, it's almost not even like wishful thinking, I don't know. I don't really live like that, or it's good to kind of say that could we have beat them, but it's kind of like wishful thinking. We beat them once, but I just think that even bigger than that game, I always look at like the mistakes. Like now I look at myself because I do reflect about that season. And the one thing that sticks out to me is just like, and this is no knock on coach or anything. I just looking at, because I played so much basketball and I understand the game very well now because I've played all over the world. And looking back at that, just like our team was, everybody was so focused on that 5 we had, but I think there was some mismanagement with the team we had because with the players we had. Like, we had Naquan, we had John, we had Cam, Winnington, and Brandon. Like, that 5 we had wasn't the bench players we had when we were blowing teams out by 20 and 30 and 40 points, man. Those guys should have been playing in the game. You know what I mean? Everybody was just so fascinated on that 5 and keeping people entertained that's what caught up to us. Even that Chambersburg game when we lost, and Naquan and those guys had to play, but they wasn't used to playing. So those guys didn't have the experience that they had. So when at the end of the season, when you see that those guys had to play when we got in foul trouble, me, Dustin, and Perry, those guys will now have to go and play in the biggest games of their life. And now it's just like, yo, what are they supposed to do? And everybody's like yelling and this and that, but it wasn't their fault. Those guys should have been playing when we were beating teams. Should have been playing 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So now when they're in those situations or we get in foul trouble, those guys we could sit and rest for 2-3 minutes, and those guys could understand what they had to do in the game. So now when we look at a game like Williamsport when we lost, I think it was just management. Management and understanding that it wasn't just about those 5. That 5 had a lot more to it.
It's funny you say that because me and B-Way had these conversations plenty of times where I felt, just being up close and personal during those days, that our second five on that university team was the second best team in the LL. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Quan Talton, Daquan Lee, John Cameron, Johnny Rivera.
Yeah, those guys could play. Those guys were raw, but even like the next years when those guys were playing, those guys they could play. Dustin, those guys still, and Perry, those guys still had a good team even when I left. So you got to figure, that's 7 months removed from those guys, and they were playing now. Those guys are the main guys. So
I agree with you 100%. And I remember being up there at Pottsville for that Williamsport game, and our whole starting five got in foul trouble. You got 4, I think, and you ended up fouling out, right?
Yeah, we ended up fouling out, man. And the thing about it is, man, we were kicking their ass too. Like, those guys couldn't play with us, man. They couldn't play with us. That first half, it was like a crapshoot. There was no way that team could beat us. The only way they could beat us was what had happened.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, the whole starting five was in foul trouble. It's kind of a unusual thing. But I remember everybody saying that, I've always said the bench would have got – there was games against, like, Solenko that year and some teams in the LL. We were up 35, and you guys were still playing late in the fourth.
Yeah.
That next year, like the next year after you graduated, we went to the Final Four of the state. So, like, it's just showing that was with them guys on the bench that played against you guys every day in practice, but also prove that they could, go out there and get buckets.
The thing about it, too, it was just like those guys watching us, they knew how to play. They're watching us. You know what I mean? And it's not like we were – we played basketball. You know what I mean? We weren't in a system to where we had to do this, do that, do that. Now, we went out there, we played, we made things happen. You know what I mean? I think me, before I got to McCaskey, I was already polished. I was a polished player because I've played at the Boys Club and Arnell and those guys, man. And I was in the gym so much. Anthony Gibson, and Dustin, Perry and those guys later. By the time we got to McCaskey, man, we were not taking credit for that. We were groomed, man. Like, it was one of those things where I remember when I talked to the coach at Ryder, Coach Baggett, who's the head coach there. He was telling me, he was like, basketball is, man, so overrated. Coaching is so overrated because everybody wants to get to the point to where they want the best players. You're just putting those players in position. Look at the Dukes and the Kentuckys. Those guys are so polished. I'm not saying that those coaches aren't coaching, but you can't guard those guys. You can't guard them because they're that good. 2-3 plays they're making, and those guys are just playing basketball. And that's kind of how we were at a lower level, but at McCaskey. You know what I mean? All you got to do is put us on the court, and we'll make things happen.
The thing that stood out about that time when you were there was how big you guys were. Like, Gabe was like a 6'2" point guard in the LL. You had Perry, Eberhardt, Dustin. I mean, even Akeem. You guys were so big. And now you see a McCaskey lineup sometimes. They don't even have a big man over 6 foot as their big man.
No comment, yo.
Different times, man. Different times.
Do you see that? I like Freddie, the coach they have now there at McCaskey, but do you see that style of McCaskey coming back? That level of basketball?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't really say. I just think that kids need to work. If they really want to play, they have to work. They have to be fundamentally sound. They have to understand the game. And I think it just depends on errors, man. It depends on who's doing what kids want to play, what kids are using the time that they're not playing video games and outside in the park or finding ways to make themselves better. Even with all this COVID lockdown stuff, what are you still doing to find ways to make yourself better? And all that stuff plays in. It makes your coach's job easier. Because the coach's job, a lot of times coaches, they're coaching during that period. You're not going to get better during that period. As a team, you can be, but fundamentally, that's stuff that you have to work on all the time. You know what I mean?
You make a good point with just saying in general how, what great coach don't have great players. And you could say that, the coach is developing the players, but at the end of the day, you need guys.
Yeah, you need guys too. You need guys too. You need players too. But at the same time, though, if you got great players, you still got to have a great coach to be able to put those great players in positions to allow them to be great. You know what I mean? I see players that are great, but then don't have coaches to put them in positions to show that they're great. You know what I mean? You still swing the ball 50 times when you got a player right here that can create.
Well, just touching on that, you saw, like we always talk about this, like how you saw youth development in Europe as into how it is here in America. Do you think that like Europe has a leg up with just how they develop young basketball players?
100%. I mean, watching how the systems are, and you know, like I said, every country is different, but watching how kids are training, like, man, kids are training every day. Every day. I mean, with the exception of what's going on with the COVID, tell me a place right now in Lancaster where kids can go and get real training every day.
That's a tough one. Like
once a week, twice a week.
They can go on your Zoom. They can go on Jerry Johnson's Zoom.
But I'm being realistic though. Tell me a place right now that's open where kids can go and get real training with people who know how to train every day.
Oh, every day. They can find
it
nowhere.
Jerry, you think, or is that a country issue? Are other cities doing that, like Europe, where they're training every day?
I mean,
I just saw that documentary at PG County, and they had some facilities down there where kids seemed like they were getting work every day.
I think it's a little like a society thing. I think it's a non-cultural thing to not having the culture, but I just think it's where we're at. I think it's our demographics. You know what I'm saying? I think people want to help people when they want to help people. You know what I mean? They don't want to put in a situation where, and I don't think that's just for basketball. I just think that's for all sports. You know what I mean? I think that there's not a place where in a city where kids can go and get to and don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get real life things to help them. You know what I mean? But then what happens is people complain at the high school level why their teams aren't good, or why their basketball team's not good, why their football team's not good. Well, there's nowhere where the kids going to be able to go every day and train and get that information. No, you can't wait till the season and become and train. It's too late. It's a lifestyle. You know what I mean? And Europe has always going to have the upper hand because they have that. You know what I mean? They have that that culture. You know what I mean? It's different. But I think in bigger cities, like obviously like New York, Philly, you know, out in LA, I think you can find places like that. I mean, Lancaster County is small. You know, we want to be like this big. Our actors, though, we know, and people around want to help and do this. But realistically, when it's really time, like I could be in the gym every day, all day. I mean, shout out to Kiana Bowman in the mix. I mean, she's been allowing me to kind of transition into that. And she knows I can be in the gym all day. And she always says, "Oh my God, Jerry, I can live in the gym." You know what I mean? She's allowing. I mean, I think, you know, off topic, she's a great person to be able to lead the inner city in the mix. She's a great person for it, and she's been allowing me slowly to do that. But you know, it'll get there at some point.
So everything you're saying sounds like, I mean, you're ready to be a head coach and implement some of these things you've seen in Europe and around the world. Is that what you're going to bring to La Academia? What's your 10-year plan for that place?
Well, it's crazy.
5-year plan.
I mean, I don't even know if it's really a plan. I mean, like I said, it just happened. You know what I mean? It wasn't something I was looking for. It kind of just fell in my lap. So quick story. So I was coming from Ocean City, and me and Kiana had just met right before I had went to Ocean City, and we were just talking about how, you know, how I can help her, how she can help me, how we can help the community, how we can help kids and things like that. And she called me on my way home, and she was like, "Jerry, with the school academia, you know, I know we just talked about gym space or whatever like that, but they need gym time. You know, would you be receptive enough to, you know, to share some of your time with them?" I was like, "Nah, cool." I was like, you know, if, you know, they need gym time. They're trying to get their things together. That's fine. You know what I mean? Just as long as we can make it work for both of us, it's cool. You know what I mean? And then she, I think she called me back, I think it was like that Sunday. I was leaving. I was coming home Friday. She called me that Sunday, and she was like, "Well, they need a coach." And I was like, "A coach?" I was like, "Nah." I said, "Nah, I ain't about that life, man." Because I know how hard coaching is. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something I wanted to really jump myself into, was coaching, because I just know the demand of it. It's not something where you pick and choose when you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like and I know myself. I know how I am. And she was like, "Well, Tommy, the principal, wants to talk to you anyways." I said, "All right, I'll talk to him." So I talked to Tommy. Tommy, "Oh, Jerry, I heard so much about you." And, it was kind of one of those things. I look back and I was like, the job was already mine before I even decided to take it.
They already knew who they wanted.
So I already had the job, and that's not even what I was really wanted to do. And Tommy just pulled me in. She was like, "Jerry, we want to bring you in, high school basketball." And I was just like, "Well, like, how serious do you want to be?" I'm like, "Do you want to be like rec ball, or do you trying to be like PIAA or something?" No, PIAA, we're really serious. I said, "Okay, well, if you're really trying to be PIAA and not rec, then I might consider, just give me a couple of days." So then it went from just like, "Jerry, how about coaching? We just be a flat out coach. We'll give you a salary for coaching, and you can do it." And I was just like, "Okay, well, I'll consider that." So then we met twice. So when I told him I'll do it, I was like, "All right, I'll do it." Then he's like, "Well, how about being full time?" "What do you mean full time? Like in the school?" I was like, "Nah, I'm not looking for no full time."
I just retired.
I just finished playing. I'm trying to figure myself out. He was like, "Look, we'll make you an AD. We'll give you benefits. We'll do this. We'll do that." And I'm just like, I thought about it. And then, my cousin Mark Sims is the principal, and I'm talking to him. And I'm like, "Look, man, give it a shot." Ended up doing it. It was, come to find out, Kiana, and Ted Darkus, and all those people in the community was already, like, they were already advocating for me as taking the job, and I didn't even know it.
I got something I want you to follow up on, because I know you were playing a couple of games at Thaddeus Stevens. Mm-hmm. Well, like, there's some kind of issue with what's the issue there? I kind of should have did my research on it, because I'm not even sure myself. That's why I'm asking. What was the issue where you guys had to play at Stevens? Even though it's a great facility for you guys, I'm just wondering why you had to play there.
Well, because there's a lot of moving parts, man. So I ended up taking the job, and kids came over, and we had to play at Stevens because we don't have a gym. We don't have a gym. We're PIAA now, but we don't have a gym. So hopefully this upcoming year that we're PIAA will, we can work out something to play some games there. Yeah. Most of our games are on the road.
Did you have a lot of issues getting into PIAA?
Not really. Actually, it was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was easier than I thought it was going to be.
So, being there now, you have one of, the top freshmen around with Dustin Salisbury's son, Damaj. How good do you think he can be?
He's a Division I player, man. He's for sure a Division I player. Yeah. I already see that already. It's just going to be a matter of what level of Division I. Is it going to be mid-major, or is it going to be, at a big-time school? And a lot of that, depends on height. It depends on abilities, but talent-wise, for sure, he's going to be a college scholarship player for sure. That's no doubt in my mind. As long as he stays healthy and everything, and most importantly, he's a good kid. He's a really good kid. So,
on that same note, so you played at the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference at Rider. Do you feel like you could have went to a bigger school? Do you wish you did, or you feel like you were at the place you're supposed to be?
I don't regret nothing, man. I think I was where I needed to be at. Mm-hmm. I was right where I needed to be, right there. I played my first year. I started rookie of the year. I couldn't ask to be in a better place. It was good to me. It was good to me, and I don't regret anything about being at Rider. Education-wise, basketball-wise, it was the best only decision I had.
No, it definitely worked out for you. You're in the Hall of Fame as of 2013. You're a Rider Hall of Famer, one of the all-time leading scorers up there, one of the all-time leaders in assists. I was just curious as a competitor, 'cause I know how competitive you are. If you ever thought about how you would have performed in a ACC, a Big Ten, or A10 type of conference.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't even play my first year. Maybe I wouldn't have played to my junior year or senior year.
Mhm.
You don't know that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like uncertainty. I really can't answer the question. But could I play at that level? Of course. But on what level? You know what I mean? Would I have been at a 5-10 minute player, or I could have been a 30-minute player? You know what I mean? You don't know. You know what I mean? Just like people didn't know what I was going to do at Rider. I mean, like my coach who's an AD now, Don Harm, he'll tell you now. When Jerry came here, I didn't know what he was going to be. He was just a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? But my mindset was like, yo, I'm coming here to make some shit happen. You know what I'm saying? That was my mindset. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't coming there just for a trip, hour and a half ride to Lawrenceville.
I read an interview from your coach on your transition from freshman to sophomore season when he moved you to shooting guard, and how tough that was for you. Was that you remember that being a real tough experience?
It was hard. It wasn't really that I made a transition to shooting guard. It was just that I was taking a lot of shots.
The greenest thing you ever saw.
I was still a point guard, but it was different because you got to understand at the Division I level, man, like you can have a surprise, but now that second, third time you're playing a team or that next year, now people know who you are. Like they scouting you.
Yeah. You're a rookie of the year in the conference.
Yeah, but you got to understand we had a player of the year too, and then they were all seniors. So me just running around as a 5'11" freshman, I could do what I want to do because nobody knew like who this little dude was. Yeah. My second year, it was like, okay, they call it the sophomore slump. Yeah. It wasn't really a sophomore slump. I still scored a lot of points, but my team didn't win. wasn't winning nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to learn how to play again. Like I had to learn how to run the team. I was playing like I was at McCaskey my second year. I was just shooting a bunch of shots and scoring, and that was what it was. But then I had to learn how to lead my team. You know what I mean? Because even at McCaskey, I was 5'11", 6 foot. I wasn't really taught how to be a point guard. And that's the difference between me being a mid-major and being at a high-level Division I is because what high-level Division I is bringing a 5'10" guard and is shooting a bunch of three-pointers? They bring you in as a point guard. I wasn't really taught during that time how to run a team as a point guard. I was out there just scoring. Mm-hmm. So that transition, my sophomore year at Rider, I had to watch film, understand coaches in my ear. I had to learn how to be a point guard and how to run a team. But I still did. I was still able to do that and be individually successful and be successful as leading my team and winning some league titles and stuff like that.
When did you start feeling that way? The way you're speaking now, like knowing you had to adjust as a player. When did you realize that? By a junior, your sophomore season? Like when did you get that knowledge? I gotta get better at this. I can't do this.
Just watching film and experience, learning, but trying to learn quick because you only got 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And trying to learn, trying to be the best you can do all at once. You know what I mean? Because you only have there's a timeline on it. You only got 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, and when I was at Rider, I came home. I never really came home. I came home Fridays, Saturdays. That was it. Mondays through Thursdays. A lot of times Monday through Friday, I was training. I was taking summer classes. Also too, because coming into Rider, I was high risk academically, so I had to change my mindset of like, I have a great opportunity here. I'm getting over a $200,000 education. I cannot, take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? So I made sure I was ahead and doing what I needed to do in the classroom. So I stayed all summer, all year round. So my senior year, I only had like 2 classes, a Wednesday night class and a Tuesday, Thursday class. My senior year was cakes. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel like you're ahead of your time. I don't know if you were getting good advice from other people because, Brandon B-Way has athletes all the time, and I get to know them through him. And I always say the kids need to stay. If they come home, they get in trouble, they lose focus. They should just stay up on campus.
But I think a lot of kids don't do this. They don't. And I don't want to say this to make it sound not right, but you gotta learn from what from other people's mistakes, man. If you see this dude, if you see this guy, and that's what I understand. Like kids these days, like you see these dudes getting arrested, doing this, doing that, and it's not right. Why are you going to continue to do that? Why? Logically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So from mindset, I'm watching other guys, in another way, watching film or watching other guys ahead of me. And once you get into that point of actually being at university, you have other people there who are ahead of you. So now you see what you need to do. You know what I mean? It's there. If you're there on a scholarship, man, you got so many resources and people, alumni, helping you and showing you the ropes. Like, you got to be an idiot to not finish. You got to be an idiot.
I agree.
No, I mean, going to college.
Leaders, Gary.
Huh?
A lot more followers and leaders.
Yeah, I know that, but it's like you're watching people. You just watch. All you got to do, you don't even have to say anything. Just look at people.
Yeah.
Not say nothing. Watch people how they move. Watch how they talk. Watch how they act. Look at the results they get because of that. It's simple, man, but I don't know, man. It's simple to us. You know what I mean? It's simple to us. It's our job to be around that so kids can see that more often. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things where Lancaster kind of missing, man. We have so many resources. You know, we got Chris Wilson's, we got Perry Patterson, we got Dustin Salisbury, we got, so many female leaders as well that are so successful, man. But there's an issue in Lancaster where we push those people away somehow, or we don't welcome those people back. And that's a problem. You know what I mean? And then you get all this stuff going on, and then you don't see those people that are successful help protesting in Lancaster, doing this, doing that. You know, they protest on their own way, but you don't have these people back here in Lancaster helping because Lancaster has this feeling where it's not so welcoming sometimes. I feel it all the time, but you know, I grew up on a 300 block of South End, so for me, my mindset is like, yo, I've been through this before. You know what I mean? So that's not gonna. I'll keep knocking on doors till somebody opens. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that's big. I mean, first of all, but just going to college, I think really changed my mindset about a lot of things. That freshman year, when you see the seniors who are doing, you know what I mean, doing their thing or working hard, and you see like just the way they talk is different and their respect level. You're like, man, like I gotta change some things up. Like you think going in that you know some things, but then there's so much more that you just didn't know.
Right.
And like further, like to your comment, I teach in York now, and I swear we have, you know what I mean? First of all, there's a lot of Lancaster folks, McCaskey grads that teach in York with me.
And that's for me, that's a problem. Not to cut you off, but that's my opinion. That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem because again, like I said, you have so many people who are successful in their own way, whether it's education, whether it's business, whether it's sports, and I just feel Lancaster itself in the inner city where a lot of help is needed. We push our successful people out everywhere, but being here, and then people are upset about, oh well, why this ain't this, why this person ain't doing this, because you pushing them, you pushing them wild. I remember somebody saying something to me. I ain't gonna say who said it, but they were just like, and like I said, I mean, I have a lot of good business friends and stuff like that, and I'm not saying this to be objective or trying to stir the pot or anything. I'm just telling you how I feel as a person of having such success and being here and seeing people like you in York and Danielle and Keewan. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me. But it's like people are saying like, oh, well, why just, there's not a lot of black people of color downtown protesting and people that are leaders and stuff like that. But you got to understand something too, man. Sometimes going downtown is not the most welcoming place for people either. You got bars, you got some bars and stuff that don't want people down there that look like me and you, or people that you may not know. So you can't be mad at them for not wanting to go down and protest. Well, I don't go down there now. I don't feel like it's good. So why gotta go down there in disarray? That makes sense. Doesn't make sense.
No, I'm just like saying, like down in York, we see like I work with a lot of folks who are York High grads, and they come back to teach at York High, and like it seems as though Lancaster treats Lancaster grads as like it's not good enough or something. They want to go out somewhere else and get somebody else. So that's why it's just frustrating at that level.
That's the problem. I mean, that's, it's one of those things where, like, you could be a person, like me, I could be a person to sit back and watch and complain. It's easy to do. You know what I mean? But it's another reason why I took the challenge and going to the academy. Just try to be in the mix and try to help kids and be a person of voice and people where that kids can see walking around and be like, yo, man, this guy, if I can do it, you can do it type thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important, man. I grew up on the 300 block of South End, and now I'm on the north side of South End. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a lot more to do with the youth, and they need to see that. They need to see people who are successful, that are real, that you can touch, you can talk to, you can go out to lunch, that are real people. And I think the more you see that, the more things will change, and the more successful kids and things will be better again.
It sounds like
you're 100% right, Jerry. Even going to schools and doing like career days and stuff, and I'll be with a crew, and you just see how certain kids look at you differently when they know, like, hey, I went to Reynolds, I went to McCaskey, I went to Fulton, and they're like, oh, you're a firefighter, I could be a firefighter. And you got the other guys I work with that, they just don't gravitate them the same way sometimes. These kids want somebody to look up to that came from where they came from.
For sure. I mean, that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's, it's no knock or no shade on people from outside coming in. It's always good to build relationships, other people, because those people have resources too. But this is people that are successful that are still living here. It's important that you got to give them jobs, man. Like, you can't go out finding somebody here, bringing somebody here, coaching over here, and then find out that they're not even qualified, or they got bad things on their record that somehow slip through the cracks and they're able to be here. Like, that doesn't make sense, man. You got these same people. Even, for example, look at Damian Henry and those guys down in Coatesville, Coach Ortega and those guys. Man, look what they did for the track team. Look what they did for their football team.
They went down there and killed it.
This doesn't make sense.
Absolutely killed it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Same thing with B-Way. We got B-Way at Catholic in York. He should be here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm just one person. I try to do what I can do, and that's it, man. I don't have all the answers, but logically, some things are just like, yo, like, you don't see that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Red. You got a question?
Yeah, you guys kind of cut me off, so I kind of forget it. But it was it had to do along the lines of, like, Coach Powell. Like, when I heard Jerry speak, I know you guys had a great relationship. You speak as if maybe he instilled some of those things in you, because that's kind of what he was trying to do when he was leading McCaskey's team.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Powell, man, was like, it's like there's tears in your life. You know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, like, the boys club had Arnell. I passed off, went to Coach Powell. And it's just like, Coach Powell was just like, he was a great person, man. And people always talked about, like, coaching or this and this and that, but it was bigger than that. Like, people don't understand. Like, when I was talking to Seth Berger down at West Town, the founder of N1, on my talked about coaching and how coaching high school basketball is not X's and O's. You know what I'm saying? It is. But the gist of it and the high percentage of it, 80-90% of it is being your doctor, your mentor. And I think Coach Powell was the perfect person for what he did and what he meant for the city.
Absolutely.
Because you're dealing with inner city kids and don't have moms, don't have parents, this, drugs, this, not going to school, bad grades. It was so much bigger than basketball, you know what I mean? Even for me, like, he hired me in the summertime, cutting lawn, grass. He never gave me anything and made me work for it. But that's the side that people don't see. You know what I mean? They always see the side of just how they felt about him personally or how he was as a coach. They didn't see the big picture. You know what I'm saying? And I still think even at McCaskey, man, like, I don't think they did enough in his remembrance for him being gone. He gave 40 years of his life. You know what I mean? And I think at least at minimum, that court should have his name on it.
Absolutely.
At minimum. You know what I'm saying? I think that I don't know who's in charge of that, but for sure, man, that should be, you know, Steve Powell or Gymnasium, you know what I mean, with his name on it. He gave 40 years of his life. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Coach Powell was definitely that, you know what I mean? He was definitely, you know, I always had my father, my dad, amazing. Coach Powell was always an outsider, you know what I mean? He was always that guy for me, you know what I mean? He's done so much, man. He's done so much for me, like things that I don't even want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? That I would never say publicly, you know what I mean? But not just me, for a lot of the guys at McCaskey, you know what I mean? And it's just sometimes I look at it and it's just sad to see, one, you know, the way he went out, but two, even more so, what people who have control of have given back on what he's done. I think it's terrible.
No, it was always.
I'm actually glad you said it though, because I think a lot of people share that same sentiment, and it's just it is terrible. Go ahead, Mark. You have a question.
So whoever's in charge,
everything Jimmy said.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Whoever's in charge of alumni or whoever has to do it, there has to be some kind of petition or something. They need to change that name on McCaskey, and Coach Powell's name need to be on it. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I always try to explain to people the difference between coaching in the city and the suburbs. And you got to be more than an X and O guy to coach in the city. You could be the great X and O guy, but you're never going to be a great coach in the city if you don't realize you got to be a father figure. You got to be this for these guys, a role model. It's more than that.
It's about relationships. And if you can't walk yourself in those kids' shoes and be able to talk to them, or walk in their neighborhood, knock on their door, walk in their house and sit down, it's never going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah, like I coach at Steve in football, and you can tell, like, you see the difference. We get kids from like the country, we get kids from the suburbs, we get kids from the city, and like their requests are always different. So I may have a kid that came from the suburbs where his request is something on film. Can we watch more film, coach? And he don't have the same worry as that kid that came from the city, where I had a kid ask me, hey, coach, any way you can do me a favor, I promise I'll pay you back. Can you give me some laundry detergent? Like, the requests are it's just so different from where they come from. It's like you can help them, but you can help them only differently. And that kid, that his worry is so different. So he has school, he has football, but he also got to worry about, I can't even wash my clothes unless I help you.
Look, man, I'm at Lacademia, man, and it's kids, man. It's a whole different world, man. It's like kids have so much pain, man. If you can't at least be a person they feel comfortable talking to or listening to, that relationship's not going to work. I don't care what you give or what you give. You got to be able to. And it's more of a transparency and a heart to heart thing. If you don't have that feeling, you ever just talk to somebody where you can feel without them saying it. You can be in a room with somebody, and you can feel if that person is good for you or not. You don't have to say anything. You can just feel.
Nah, they just gotta trust you, and they know it. They just know.
Exactly. Yep.
Nah, but like we said, like, we salute you for that, because you could be anywhere in the world, literally, coaching basketball, moving your family, and you know what I mean, go set up shop in a different country and coach professional. You can be Division I coach somewhere, like, but you chose, you know what I mean, to come here and make a difference. So like, that's real. And as a guy who like dedicated his life to helping young people, like, we need more of that. Just more successful people coming back that they can see and touch and know and ask questions from.
Right, but on the flip side of that too, though, like I said, it has to be something that's allowing them to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of having to break down the door. You know what I'm saying? But it'll come.
Buddy Calhoun commented saying, when Lancaster sports does well, Lancaster does well. I fully agree.
Easy. you got to understand something, man. We are an urban city, man. You know, we thrive off of sports. You know, sports is our life. You know what I mean? And when football is doing well, when basketball is doing well, the community's engaged.
Whole city.
Communities together. I mean, I remember when we had. I remember
we had half-court shots, man. The gym was packed.
Man, I remember when we were in that Lancaster magazine. You know what I mean? It's a Lancaster Pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our kids need
that magazine. I have that here.
Yeah, you know, we need things that's gonna keep us intrigued. You know, keep us challenged. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it is. You know what I mean? When you take those things away, they become a problem. You know what I mean? I almost feel like sometimes things are done for those things to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, systematic. Samar, you got a question?
Yeah, I'll transition a little bit. You got how many kids you got, Jerry?
3.
How old are your boys?
JJ's 13. Yasir is 11. And then I have a daughter. She's 16.
Yeah. I ref JJ, so I see him. He's a ball player. Are your kids really invested in basketball?
I think my daughter is now. I think my daughter is.
What about the boys?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are. They like to play, but it's still yet to. We'll see. You know what I mean? You know, they have some. They understand the game. I mean, they've been around it. And I'll train them here and there. You know, not as much as I would like to, but you know, I want them to come to me. Like, my daughter comes to me and is like, Dad, let's do this, let's do that. You know what I mean? But my kids, they're still engaged, but we'll see. We'll see, you know, the next year or so how they, you know, how things are going to be.
Well, shout out to your daughter, too, for winning that title. Go ahead, Samar.
Well, just for being from this area, I mean, you're one of the best players to ever come from this area. And do you feel that's going to put pressure on your sons or your daughters as ball players? And how you plan on having them handle that?
I mean, I think it's gonna be pressure anyways because of what I've done. You know what I'm saying? And people are automatically gonna think that, oh, that's Jerry's kid, or they must be able to play. They must have game. But I don't put that strain on them as a dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not forcing them to have to play. You know what I'm saying? I want them to because I want to keep them engaged, but I'm not forcing them 100%. Maybe like 65%.
No, it's funny you say about them because of your name. Because just being in certain circles, I mean, I've heard coaches say things like, you know, Jerry's kids in the program at CV, they have some talent coming up, just because they're your kids. And you'll say,
right. Well, my kids, they have the concept. I mean, they can play. I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But are they going to? Do they want to take it to that level? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's one of those things where I rather the sense where I know how hard it is. I know the sacrifices I made. And looking at them, do I think that they're ready to make those sacrifices, or are they ready to be in the gym every day, all day? You know what I'm saying?
And a question I asked you, and I talked to B-Way about this, and my brother, we all have young boys that we're trying to come up and hopefully they play sports. I mean, obviously your kids are going to grow up differently than you grew up. My kids growing up differently than I grew up and my brother grew up. How do you still put that work ethic into them, or when they don't have to worry about the things you worried about or I worried about growing up?
Well, it's one of those things where they watch me. Like, my kids watch me train. They watch me play. So I think they see and know what it takes. But are they willing to do that? You know what I'm saying?
You know how, like, you felt basketball was your way out. It was your way to get an education, your way to make your life better. How, like, is your kid going to be able to feel that same way you felt when they're not growing up with that kind of need as much?
Well, I can say it's tough because they don't have – they have what I didn't have.
Yeah.
They're growing up in two totally different demographics. They're growing up in different times. We're different people around them. You know what I'm saying? I walk to school. You know what I mean? My daughter goes to Catholic. I never had to pay to go to school.
Yeah.
I walk from South End to McCaskey every day in the cold. You know what I mean? My kids here, they take a bus. Sometimes they don't even want to get up and walk to the bus stop.
No.
30-second walk. Oh, it's cold out. Can you drive me? So it's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. What do you think, in your opinion? How do you overcome that? Because you really can't recreate that.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's just kind of just talking to them. I try to tell them, look, man, you guys growing up different than me. And this is one of those things that I can tell them, but they have to kind of catch on themselves. You know what I mean? I think it's just a fine line of hoping that they can do it without me, hoping that they understand and me telling them at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you could you can really do, because like
there's no potion, there's no food I can make and give and feed them and say, oh, I understand. You know what I mean? It's just just hoping that they see all the different things that's going on, me talking to them, you know, being respectful, not being ungrateful, hoping that all that stuff ponders to them and hopes they're able to put that into their life. You know what I'm saying?
No, I was just curious your opinion, because I feel like it's a challenge for me, because
hard.
There's things I went through that I felt like, you know, going through them, but they made me who I was today. They put certain things in me that made me who I am today. And I can't recreate that for my son. And so I was just seeing how you look at it.
There's no real answer. It's that you're telling them, hoping that it happens. There's nothing you can really do.
Yeah, like, well, shout out to you.
You know, it's like one of them things where it's like, you know, you could be at a family cookout, and then your uncle can be like, or your relative can be like, to your dad, they'd be like, look, man, he turned out pretty well. He turned out that way. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's kind of like a crapshoot, like hoping we give him everything he needs to be successful when he learns on his own and understands. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Well, Samar was being disrespectful with asking about your boys. But shout out to your daughter for winning a district championship last year with Catholic. Girls play basketball too, you know, Samar.
I never ref his daughter. I don't know. I ref JJ. I knew he had another boy because I see him at the game. I just didn't know. It wasn't a disrespect. It was a lack of knowledge. I didn't know how old she was. I didn't know she was that old.
We have a comment from Tony Miller. I know you know him. He Jerry. He's gave you the gym a bunch of times at Stevens. Tony.
Oh yeah, Tony's amazing. He definitely has.
Yeah. So he says, I guess he was referencing, I think, your kids. The question my brother asked, and he was just saying, has to come from inside no matter what, and who the parents are. I met 3 of you, which he's talking about us 3, besides Samar. I met 3 of you, and you're really good dads. If your children's passion is not sports, they will have passion in something positive. Continue to grow, be humble, and have some respect.
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely comes from upbringing.
Yeah.
100% right. Definitely upbringing.
I know Tony, he's made sure you got that gym a few times.
Tony definitely has taken care of us and Lacademia and me, and even times where I was still playing in Europe, you know, allowing me to train and you know, use that gym too. But you know, that gym it's a nice facility too. But you know, there's a lot of different people that use it. But hopefully, with Lacademia, we can continue to build a relationship for that gym also. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you, man.
Go ahead, Samar. You look like you're about to say something.
No, I was just going with a basketball question. A lot of kids coming up just in the area in general that they're talented. Even that kid, the Cedar Crest, just committed to one of the top JUCO schools in the country. What do you feel like if you had to give advice to some of these players that don't know you, didn't see you play, but know you play across seas professionally? What was one tip you would give them? Like, what does it take? What do you have to sacrifice to make it over there and play across seas?
I just think, one, you just have to be in positions that find people who want to help you. Just work hard. You know, don't make excuses. Just be open to different ideas and different people. I think one thing too I learned too is that you can't do it yourself. You're always going to need somebody, no matter what level of success you're on, whether it's high or low. And it's a grind, man, and you just have to reach out to people that who've done it. You know what I mean? Whether you know them or not, find them, talk to people, get in people's ears. You know what I'm saying? I think that's not just for sports, that's business too.
What was the biggest challenge for you going over? If you put yourself back in your shoes when you first went over across seas, what was the biggest challenge to adjust to playing somewhere where you don't speak the language, there's nobody that looks like you around? Like, how do you do that?
I think, again, it's just what are your goals, what you want? Because depending on what you want and why, the challenge is just being better and being as best as you can be. And, besides the language barriers and living away, that was probably the biggest challenge. But I just think working hard and having the will to not fail is the challenge also. Not wanting to fail. That's the biggest challenge.
The language, because like now we have apps. Like me and Brandon were in Brazil last year, and we used Google Translate a lot. But you didn't have that back when you first went across seas. How'd you communicate? How'd you talk to teammates?
I think in basketball, pretty much everybody speaks language. Speaks English. Speaks English. But you'll find out, man, like even then, English is an international language, man, and a lot more people are speaking the language, and it's not too many places where you can't go these days and can't find somebody that speaks English. And plus, when you're playing basketball, you don't need to speak anything.
Yeah.
Basketball speaks for itself. You know what I mean? I mean, you do need to talk, but I'm just saying, in the sense of things, basketball is a language of its own.
Yeah.
B, we are an hour and 20 minutes in. I mean, we could go all day.
Yeah, man. Let's let Jerry get out of here. Anybody else got anything important they want to get to?
You ain't got no more questions? I
still have some, but how long we go, man?
Yeah. I mean, let's go.
People are curious, though, I would say, about – I know in 2005, after you graduated Ryder, you played on the Clippers Summer League team. Was the NBA ever – how did you feel about the NBA in general? Was that a goal of yours, or are you okay just going where you went?
Well, I had a couple workouts with the Nets, and I thought they would call me, at least for like a free agent type thing, but they didn't. And then I had an NBA agent too. I had a guy named Keith Glass, his dad name was Joe Glass, who was a big NBA agent at that time. And I think once because I had some workouts, once NBA Summer League was there, and this was what I was thinking, where I didn't have any other opportunities, and I think my agent kind of got, without saying that, you could read between the lines, I think he didn't really have a position for me because he didn't really know what, and I was getting eager too, because I was like, man, I need something, man. I got a kid, man. I know I'm going to play. I know I'm going to make some money, but I don't know where. So then I rerouted. I got rid of him and got another agent that was a little bit lower, and he sent me to Poland. You know what I mean? So I never really tried to go back. Like a lot of players, they play for a while. They play with it. They go back and forth trying to, play in Summer League, trying to do that. I tried it one time and it didn't work, and I just stayed in Europe. I just made a career out of Europe right away.
How'd you feel you did in the Summer League? I don't remember watching.
I was just on a roster. I didn't get a chance to play. I mean, you had Sean Livingston at the time. He just came in the league. He was coming out of high school. And then you had Mario Chalmers, who played with Xavier at that time when they made that Final Four. I think they made that tournament run. And then they drafted.
Mario played for Kansas.
Chalmers played Kansas. He had the game-winning shot against Memphis.
I think it was, yeah. They had Roman Sato and those guys. And then they drafted Daniel Ewing from Duke. So I was the fourth point guard. So there was really no play. He was drafted, so I was just brought in. So there's really no space for me to even play. You know what I mean? So I was like, reroute. You know what I mean? What's next?
Yeah.
What was your favorite city that you played in out of all the like Turkey, Poland, France, Greece?
Oh man, Istanbul, man, Turkey. Shout out to Turkey, man. Istanbul. I love Turkey, cool, man. I love Turkish people. Istanbul is like a New York City. I loved it, man. Istanbul is my all-time favorite city as today that I've been to.
Jeez.
People, fans, the culture, the people. I loved it, man. It was good. I liked it. Liked it a lot.
You always hear the stories about playing across seas where people throwing batteries and the fans are crazy. Did you deal with any of that?
I'll give you stories in Lancaster, United States, where people are throwing batteries. There's crazy stuff all over different places. You know what I mean? It's just what you're focusing on.
Yeah. We had Dustin on a while ago, and he
Man, that was a long time ago. That was like one of our first shows. Like it was like 10 shows in or something.
Yeah, we gotta get Dust back, man. But he was giving us just like these horror stories about, people's paychecks might not come in sometimes, and like stuff like that. You never had to deal with anything like that where.
I mean, me personally, yeah. I mean, I've been in situations where I got paid late. But I always, I always played well, and it happens. I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen. It happens to a lot of people. I know late payments, getting fined, but I always, I had a great agent. I probably had number the best agent in Europe, so I always had good representation, and I always had. So that put me always on the best teams, the best situations, best organizations. So, man, but there is that side too. Like Dustin said, there is that side where you're not getting paid, not doing this, not doing that. But I was fortunate enough to always be able to play well and to have some luck too. But consistency and having good representation is key. You know what I mean? And I really haven't had that issue that much. You know what I mean? Not to the point to where I was like pissed off or mad. Of course I was mad, but that helped me not go through those things.
Gotcha. All right, man. Let's let him get out of here, man. Y'all good?
Nah, man. Tell us what's in that trophy case. What's in that trophy case?
A couple 1,000-point balls, 2,000-point balls, college, stuff like that.
A little small stunt on him.
Something light.
I'll leave it one last question, though, about his new career. So there's always this stigma around great players having trouble being good coaches. And, you're a great player in this area, and you're coaching in this area now. Has it been a challenge for you, or do you feel like it's natural transition?
It's not easy. I don't know if I'm a good coach or a bad coach. I look at myself as a pillar of success and putting the kids in the right position they need to be in, and having fun with it. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to be the next Coach K. I'm not looking to be the next coach that has 500 wins. I ain't worried about that. All I want to do is make sure the kids that I see and I know that want to be a part of La Academia have a clean shot and a share of using their abilities and having the right connections around them to have a chance to take their games to the next level and most importantly, use it to get an education. Because, it costs a lot of money to go to school. You know what I mean? You're talking $200,000, or whatever it may be. Whatever it is, you can go to JUCO, you can go to a 2-year school or whatever it may be. But we all know that education is expensive. And I'm all for a kid that has an ability and, just so happens it's basketball, that as long as I'm there at La Academia, I'm going to put the kids in the best position to succeed. And that's why I'm there. I'm there to help kids and they see me there and they know what time it is. You know what I mean? Within reason. You know what I mean? I'm not running around trying to knock on kids' doors and say, you need to come play for me. I'm not about that. I don't do that with my youth program that I have, and I won't do that in the profession that I'm in now. If you see I'm there, and you want to be a part of academia and you want to come, welcome. You know what I mean? I'm not here to sell anything to anybody, and it's not a guarantee that the kids will be, but just know that you're there like them. I'm gonna put you in the right position.
How are you in the top?
Oh, I got one more question. About back to basic. What's going on with your foundation? Your summer league.
I forgot to shout out to Tommy, principal there.
Tommy Henley.
Tommy Henley trying to do a good job from Chicago. He's giving me an opportunity to be a person of voice and a person of making sound decisions and helping the community. And I think that him giving me that opportunity and not being from Lancaster and just based off what I've done, giving me the torch and letting me run with it, you can't be in a better position than that, for what I'm doing. So I thank Tommy for that, and I really appreciate it for that. So what was that question again? My bad.
Back to basics. What's going on with back to basics?
I don't know, man. We're just waiting. Man, it's tricky right now, man. It's hard to say what's going on with it. I mean, I know once the gyms are able to open back up, I don't know, what we'll do what we can do, and kind of go from there. What we can't do, we'll try to make up with some trainings and things like that, youth development. But it's kind of like day to day.
So I'll tell a story real quick about the first time I met Jerry. So, I mean, I'm sure you don't remember. It was the first day of basketball. And we were just running games after workouts. And Mike, I forget his last name. He was Polish Mike. Remember him? He had a brother named Pete.
I do. I remember those guys. They used to play on Lemon Street all the time.
Yeah, he used to play at the park.
James Street Park.
Mike came down and gave a little crossover. Everybody was like, ooh, you were guarding them. And the very next, you got the rebound off the make, and you came down. You came cross and then behind your back, and Mike slid back on his ass. And I was like, oh, shit, like, this dude really is the real deal. It was the very next play you did it to him. So I just know how competitive you are. And now that your career, you're retired, like, how do you fill that void? Like, because competitive people like to compete. Even when they're done playing, it's just something in them.
Well, I mean, as much as I love basketball and, playing in Europe for so long and being around it, it became a business. It became a business. And sometimes when things become a business, it kind of takes its life and taste out of things. So as much as I love basketball, I show my love through it by trying to help others. But I don't miss playing because I played for a living and I played for a reason. So now that reason's gone. You know what I mean? So it's not the same for me. And even when I was playing, like, recreational wise, it's different, man, because I played for a reason to win, and the reason why I don't play rec wise anymore much is because I can't hold other guys accountable. I count for me like I'm playing in Europe where I'm playing on that level, you know what I'm saying? So I just more enjoy of teaching and, watching young kids play. But I don't know, maybe every now and then once things open up, I might play. But I kind of lost that part of it because of the business side of it.
Okay, that's a good answer. I didn't think about that point. I can't relate. So I just thought losing that as part of your life, that would have been tough for you.
I don't miss playing. Actually, I don't miss playing. I mean, even if it's, but you know what though, there is times where, like, I see pictures, like there was a picture that was in my news feed yesterday morning when I woke up with me, like, at a championship flying by. Like, I get like seconds of like, dang, I miss it. Like, even when I went down, I watched Ryder play Temple. I get little phases, but it's just like a quick little twitch, and then it's like,
No, that's funny that you say that. I can't relate that way, but, like, I remember talking to Samar a while ago, and, like, after football was over for me, I stopped lifting, I stopped working out. And he was like, well, why you stop going to the gym? And I'm like, well, I'm not training for nothing no more. So, like, the purpose is gone. Like, I'm not trying to get bigger, stronger, faster. I'm not trying to be one of those regular guys at the gym. I just going to the gym for I didn't understand it.
Nah, he told me that. He told me that.
But even when I go jogging, like I jogged the other day around my neighborhood, and normally when I was playing, I'd push through and do 2 more laps or run 10 more minutes or 15 more minutes. I mean, I got tired and I was like, I'm done now. I'm on my knees. I'm like, this is done. I'm going right home, and I'm going home and eat me some Prince Subs.
Nah, B-Way told me I was doing suicides one time at the gym for cardio. He was like, man, I'll never sprint in the rest of my life. Unless a dog's chasing me or something.
I mean, I still try to get a sweat here and there when I can. But right now, this is not where I'm at in my life. Even though staying in shape is still what kept me healthy and kept me in shape. But I've been lucky genetic-wise too, though. So.
But man, we salute you, man. Like I said, you always have a platform here with us. Hey, if anybody watching,
basketball
right
the culture, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, if anybody watching right now on Thursdays, Jerry does basketball culture talks with different guys in the basketball realm or the athletic realm, and I mean, you're missing out on some good information.
That Lamar Patterson interview, by the way, was a classic, man.
Yeah, I mean, he had Lamar on, he had Seth Berger on last week, I thought that was another classic.
Yeah, those back-to-back classics.
You gotta post those on YouTube, man. All of us ain't on Facebook.
I'm trying to get them and post them on YouTube, man.
I'm saving them, yeah. I'm posting.
Okay, I wouldn't mind watching some. I'm not on Facebook.
Them two back-to-back, though. That's that Lamar and that Steph one.
I'm like, dang, I had 2 good ones down. But I got my a good friend of mine I played with in France. His name is Tony Skin. He's an assistant coach at Seton Hall. And he's going to be up next on Thursday. And they were top 10. They were like number 7. Top 25, college teams, men's basketball this past year, man. So that, they were a ranked team. So it'll be good to have him on next, just talk about, his journey and coaching and playing the Nigerian national team, playing against the Olympic team. So that's going to be dope.
Seton Hall was crushed, man, when they canceled the tournament. They were trying to they had a good season this year.
He did, man. It was cool because I was able to get up there to a practice and watch them practice too when they were like number 12, I think. But yeah, he'll be on Thursday, so that'll be a dope one too.
A classic Seth Berger story was like that I didn't know, and I got from watching the thing was about how the classic Vince Carter dunk contest. He was Seth Berger is the guy who started N1.
Founder and owner of N1.
Yeah. So that classic Vince Carter dunk contest that we all know of, he was wearing N1 sneakers, and it was because he was in a contract debate with Nike and Adidas, so he didn't want to wear any of theirs. He was like, "Well, just give me those," and he went out there in some N1 sneakers and put on the best dunk contest ever. So, like, just stuff like that, this is classic stuff that you guys are getting on this basketball culture talks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's good, man. But it's even amazing just to have something like that and be able to reach out to those people, all because I've played basketball and played at a high level, and having those connections and relationships with people is huge. You know what I mean? To get up and like Seth texted me yesterday. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, you got the CEO and founder of N1 whose friends are the owners of the Sixers and the Flyers that you'll be able to text with. You know what I mean? It's just, and Speedy Claxton up in New York and Lamar Patterson. It's just amazing to have friends like that. Shout out to Gene Lambert. He's been amazing too. He's down to Octorara. He's been in my corner through the whole transitioning of being an AD coach.
He's a good coach.
Gene, good dude, man. Gene too. Having those type of people in your phone means a lot. You know what I mean? My phone. My kids get on me about my phone because it's not the latest. I think it's like the 7th, but they all got 11s or whatever. But this phone right here is worth more than theirs. You know what I'm saying? because of the contact of people I have in this phone. So it's just amazing to be in a situation like that, man, and it's good. Good situation.
Definitely, man. You're putting Lancaster on the map. You know what I mean? We salute you just for being back here and being able to touch the community the way you are. So we salute you for that. And you're always welcome here on Opinionated Facts or anything TCP related. I mean, you're part of the family. So let us be the voice whenever you need to get something out or whatever. And we're going to support you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Samar, Brandon, other Brandon.
That's B-Way.
Who's the other Brandon? B-Way? It's got to be B-Way.
It's
gotta be.
The other one. But I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, and what y'all doing is, giving people a voice, and I think hearing from people and listening, I think you guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate you all. And you guys are also important people in our community. Like they say, it takes a village, and it takes more than one person to get that voice out and to help people. And I thank you guys for what you are doing too.
Definitely, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, giving us we're probably going 2 hours now.
Yeah, man. Let's get shout outs in. Get your shout outs in, Red. Samar.
Oh yeah, I forgot too, man. Shout out to you, Samar, too, man. Being a fighter in the community and all this stuff going on, man. And, your job's important, man. And we thank you for what you do too, and putting yourself in the line to save lives.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Red, shout outs.
Shout outs. Shout out to the movement and everyone that's, trying to make a difference and open up their eyes and see what's going on in our country right now. I think a lot of the things have been positive, though you see a lot of negative things on the news. There are some good things going on in the country right now, especially for the Black Lives Matter movement and it's a host of other things. And I think a lot of times we don't even touch on it like we should probably on certain episodes. I know we did a whole episode on it last week, but it'd be nice to get some people on here to talk more about their experiences with police brutality or racism as a whole. Shout out to the NFL for finally jumping on the bus, even though they're a couple of years late. Look, beggars can't be choosers, man. They are late.
But I'm shouting NFL out on here, man.
No, I'm shouting them out. I did it. I did it already. Just shouting them out because maybe they admitted they were wrong. So can't be mad at that. Like, we can't get mad at every time someone makes a mistake. We got to be completely upset and say, no, we're not accepting that. Sometimes you got to accept the apology. I know.
Does Cap get his job back though?
I don't think Cap gets a job. Period. I don't think it ever happened.
Well, then I'm not.
That's not the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. That's not why I'm saying. Well, I'm not getting into that argument again.
Yeah, but that's the first thing you think about, though. If you can apologize to that, why can't you publicly say, Kaepernick, we apologize? They can't do that.
Until they do that,
they're not gonna do that. Because if they do that, that's admitting that they blackballed him.
Yeah.
Well, they already paid him. So he already won the lawsuit. They settled with him, so they did admit it.
Apology costs you nothing. Apology costs you nothing.
So was the apology also like a direct subliminal sorry apologize to Kaepernick too?
I don't know. I don't know what was in Roger Goodell's heart. I just
nah.
I don't know if that was meant for Cap or what. I'm just saying the fact that they got him on board. We've been asking for them to openly admit some things and stand with Black Lives Matter movement, and they finally done it. Yes, I agree they're late.
Or did Jay-Z send him a text message like, yo, you gotta apologize, yo?
Yeah.
I don't know what he did. I don't know, man. I said they're late. That's all I can get. They are late. But I'm cool with the apology. Not necessarily. I ain't saying that that's where they got to stop. I feel like they still have to do more, especially being the kind of industry that they are. They still have to do more. But that's a start. We want people to open their eyes. That's what we want.
Right? That's true.
Don't act like nothing's going on. Don't act like this didn't happen or this didn't happen. And we're not saying our lives matter more than anybody else's, but they matter. That's all we're saying. And anyone who's with that, I'm cool with.
Samar, you got any shout-outs?
I'm going to shout out Lancaster because the only thing I was worried about is I didn't want anybody taken away from the meaning of the protest. And Lancaster came out and protested peacefully. We didn't destroy our own city. And we're on day 12 or 13 now. And Philadelphia had the largest crowd they had since the Super Bowl parade. New York had a peaceful protest last night. D.C. had a peaceful protest last night. And that's 13 days in and 90-degree heat, man. So shout out to everybody out there walking for a cause that's meaningful to everybody on this platform, everybody, and my kids and your kids as well.
Yo, how about what y'all think about the Black Lives Matter imprint?
That was
DC.
Shout out to the mayor. Shout out to the mayor for that, man. I mean, that's. I love it. As a black person, I'm not even sure I would have ordered that.
You're gonna put up fences around the White House. You can't even get within a meter of it. That you can't get close to the White House. They put cages up. Then yeah, I like what the mayor did.
Yeah, I like what she did. I started thinking, would I have done the same thing? I don't even know. Honestly, I couldn't. I know I can't answer that question. Like, would I have? But so shout out to her for making that decision.
Yeah, she should go down in like African American history, man. That's that thing right there is special. Like that was dope. Jerry,
saying that Black Lives Matter. We didn't say only Black Lives Matter. We're saying Black Lives Matter too. Don't make it about you when it's not about you, man. Can't stand that.
It's like, you know what I mean, you going to report to a fire and you got to put out that fire. You're not saying that house, like all houses matter. You're just saying one house is on fire. Yeah, you're just saying
all houses matter. Right now, this one's burning down. That's the one I'm going to focus on. All right.
Exactly. Jerry, you got any shout outs? You got me, Jerry?
I don't know.
I'm like, what's this guy doing?
I was thinking, man. I want to shout out Kiana Bowman, next Arbor Place. Shout out to Tony Miller, Thaddeus Stevens, Principal Tommy Henley. You know, everyone who's supporting and just trying to uplift people. Even people who start to understand what's going on, people who are being receptive. You know, even people who are thinking one way are now thinking another way because they see what's going on, and it might not be totally their fault. And just shout out to people who are just trying to do better and see people do well, and you know, bringing the world and cities together to one, and you know, shout out to everybody, man, and everybody who's trying to do well. And that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it.
Definitely. Shout out to all the protesters out there that are definitely doing it. Shout out to all the non-African American protesters out there as well, because, you know what I mean, we can't do this thing without you, and you guys took the movement to a whole other level. Shout out to the 7-letter family as always, and I mean, shout out to Jerry for coming through. Definitely appreciate it. We good, fellas? We good to get up out of here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Make sure you guys stay laid up, stay prayed up, stay out the way, and listen to what some old folks have to say. See you guys next week. Peace.